biggest lesson learned out in Vegas?
I mean, there were a lot. Yeah, I like the way we fought back against Baylor the second half, and at least got ourselves to a point where it was anybody's game with 6 or 7 minutes left. And couldn't finish, and then even as poorly as we played against Iowa State, we came out of the locker room, cut it to 8, got them to take a timeout, had some momentum again, came out of that timeout, let them stretch it right back out. So, the fact that we were able to regroup against Oregon was kind of a game that probably nobody wanted to be at. And you don't expect to play a team as good as Oregon in that situation. So I was proud that we found a way to get it done, and then we just got to build on it.
Specifically, like losing Jackson, what did you learn about the way that this team needs to play without him moving forward to have success?
Obviously we didn't have any time without him. Jason had played primarily at the 3 and the 5 up until that point, so we shifted him to our starting power forward, and he's played a fair amount of minutes there. And then we're tinkering with Isaac there some, with Hudson there some, with Hudson a little bit at the 3. And he's relatively new to the rotation too. So, there's positive signs from all of them, just probably not consistent enough. And that's our next step for us. It's just like we need more guys to be consistent on a daily basis.
Like I think it goes without saying, but how much did losing Jackson completely change your rotation? Not in just one position necessarily, but the rotation as a whole.
Yeah, I mean he's been part of it since the jump. So anytime you lose somebody that's an all-conference level player, it's going to impact you because it forces guys to several guys have to play a different role and a role that they probably weren't accustomed to. Jason's example, thank goodness he's a 4th-year player and he's got enough experience that he can handle that. So. But we know what it is now. We know he's not coming back. So we got to put our head down and get to work.
What do you like about Hudson at the 4 and what that allows you to do?
I mean, he's good at the 3 and the 4. The good news is he can, he's physical enough to guard a bigger guy. He's quick enough to keep a guard in front. And he can rise up and shoot it over either position. So Hudson's going to be a really good player. And I think as time goes on, his natural position is probably going to be more in the wing. But we have a little bit more depth there than we do at the 4 right now.
You have to remind guys about tomorrow in terms of like, hey, this is anything can happen in college basketball, and you're not looking ahead to Saturday.
No, well, it's Sunday, I think.
Oh, Sunday. See, then don't look at Saturday.
Yeah, you got to quit looking at it. You don't even have the date right. We're at a point we got to get ready for everybody to play. Like our problems are in our own practice gym, and that's what we have to fix. So, while preparing for an opponent is important, it pales in comparison with the areas we have to grow as a group. So still a lot of our focus is on ourselves, and obviously doing as good a job we can with the scouting report as we possibly can. There's so many things we have to fix that's really our focus, and that will be most of it.
What kind of issues does Nichols present for you?
Yeah, I mean they're really athletic, and they've played Oklahoma State. I thought relatively tough. Went to Tulane, played a close game. I think very well coached. I know Coach Adler's one of the youngest coaches. Is the youngest coach in Division I, but I think he's done a great job. And Jovan Coleman, who was a GA for us a couple of years ago, is the associate head coach, and I know he's excited to come back. But they're going to change defenses, a couple different zones, some switching man, some pressing, some trapping, and a lot of guys who can take you off the dribble, which hasn't exactly been our strong suit to this point. So. We need one more good day of preparation.
What is it going to be like to see Jovan back here in this new role that he's
Yeah, really proud of him. He took a leap of faith with that job and went to work and learned some areas of the game that he probably wasn't quite as familiar with, specifically on the recruiting front. I know he's recruited a fair amount of this team, so just really proud of him to see him go out there and kind of blaze down the trail.
Mac, what are the qualities of a good defensive rebounding team, and what do you have to do to develop or sharpen those qualities?
Well, the best quality is a team that ends up with it. I laid awake at night coming up with that one. There's a lot of our problems have been in the paint. It's not when the shot's taken from the perimeter, we've lost a few, but for the most part, we've done a good job of finding bodies. What we've been losing is the scrum. Somebody gets the basketball to 6 feet, they throw it up off the rim. There's 6 or 7 guys within 3 feet of the rim, and we're not winning those battles. And some of it's physicality, some of it's technique, some of it's want to. And you know, when you have a combination of those three, you have a great rebounder. And you know, that's what we had in Baylor Shireman. And you know, we were so accustomed Kalkbrenner for all those years. While he wasn't a great defensive rebounder, his man very seldom got it. And you know, that allowed the guards to kind of come in and make a play. Well, our fives aren't doing as good a job of that this year. So, you know, besides some of the other problems we have in the guard court, our centers aren't doing as good a job as they need to.
With a younger team, how much is it a focus on physicality before Big East play starts up?
I mean, there's a fine line. You know, we already got a couple guys sitting over there in a cast. So, you know, you want to preach physicality, you want to practice it to a certain extent, but you also can't afford to have guys drop it. And, you know, I heard the football coach from Georgia talk about a team that's afraid of injuries is a scared basketball team. Well, you know, on a basketball team, when you're down 2 guys, it's natural, I think, to just be careful. Like, we'll practice the things we need to practice. We can do some of it with pads, just to make sure that we're not losing another guy to something foolish that happens in practice.
Get a scouting report from Lutz?
Somebody did. Murph probably talked to him. I watched the game. Steve's done a great job. I've seen his team play a couple times, kind of in the background while I'm watching our own team or somebody we're playing. And, you know, I think they're taking on his personality, the tough defensively. He's taken a lot of new parts and putting them together really well.
Anything else?
Your overall takeaways?
Yeah, I think there was a lot to learn from. I think just being overall, I think we played some really good teams, and being able to leave Vegas with a win was huge and crucial, and something we really wanted to do. So that last game was really, really important, and the other 2 we were able to learn from and learn a lot of things we need to work on.
Why was that last one so important?
Yeah, I think just being able to leave with a win, knowing like, okay, we got one, and coming back home with a W instead of, you know, losing 3. That's obviously a worst case scenario, and we wanted to leave just with a W because it meant a lot.
Confidence-wise, doesn't that help though too? I mean, yeah, because
100%.
the difference between going 1-3.
Exactly. And then obviously with the type of teams that are out there, Oregon's a great team, and being able to, you know, get a dub against them, it's crucial.
I think somebody asked Josh a similar thing in Vegas. Where do you see room for the team to grow most?
Yeah, I think just becoming more comfortable with each other on the court. I think in Vegas, against Oregon, we had that really good first half, and you kind of saw everything was clicking, and we kind of showed a little bit of our potential. So I think just continuing to grow, and the longer we play together on the court, the more that's going to be seen.
How what kind of a trap is this game, because you've got such a big game coming up? How can you make sure that the fellas don't look past Nichols?
Yeah, I think just with our approach every day, just knowing like this team scheduled a great schedule, and they're capable. We've seen time and time again those trap games, and I think we just go in there and focus on each day. For me, especially, there's a Bible verse that talks about don't focus on tomorrow, focus on today, for today has enough worries of its own. And I think that's really can be implied just through basketball, because we practice today, we have a game tomorrow. Like, obviously, we know what's ahead, and we're going to be prepared for that. But I think just getting ready for each day and each game.
What is the key to defensive rebounding? Have you guys diagnosed some of those?
Yeah, we just need to go get them for sure. I think that's a huge part. Another spot for us to grow when we learned in Vegas. So that's a crucial part for us for sure.
What makes in your experience, what makes a good defensive rebounder?
I think, you know, making contact with the offensive guy first, and just that aggressiveness to go get the ball, and a rebound's just as important as points. So being able to go out there and do that, I think that's what makes a good rebounder.
Are there instincts that play a role?
For sure. Definitely instincts, being able to make that read of where the ball's coming off and stuff like that. So definitely.
Does that help you guys get out in your transition game a
For
lot
sure.
better when you can grab
Exactly. You hit it pretty good. Just us getting that rebound allows us to get out in transition and start our offense, and especially when we want to get out and the other team doesn't want to get back. I mean, that gives us our advantage. That's how we want to play basketball.
Where are you at in terms of where you want to be physically?
Yeah.
In
Exactly. I'm still getting there.
Yeah.
Still working with Ben and Jeremy a lot. So it's still taking time. Obviously, I really want to be out there and give 100%. But, you know, it's still taking time. So I'm still getting there, but it's coming along very well.
How much is patience tested?
Very. A lot. But I know that God has a plan, and that's all I can trust in.
Or is that more the conditioning side, or is that the mental, physical balance?
I think both. Obviously, I didn't play a basketball game since February and wasn't able to practice this whole summer. So I've been playing basketball for like 6 weeks. So just being able to get my feel back, get everything, get my confidence back, and it takes time, but it's coming back for sure.
How much of that, like the timing, the reactivity, how much of that is in play with the rebounding, things like that?
Yeah, I feel like it goes hand in hand for sure. I think just being able to make the reads and get my feel back for the rebounding side. The rebounding side just as important as the offensive side. So getting that feel back, getting back in the groove, and just being me again.
I know you're not overlooking tomorrow. What's it going to be like for a couple of old Iowa guys to share the court on Sunday?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great atmosphere. They're playing at a really high level, so it's going to be another great test for our team, and hopefully we can go out there and just take care of business.
Anything else?
Well, in the same vein, what do you think your biggest takeaway from the week in Vegas was?
It was good. Going up against big-time competition, no really my games at all. It was all really bump. So going up, seeing how we stack up, and I feel like me personally, we lost the first-round draft pick in Jackson, and we're just trying to fill the gaps and figure it all out. But I think it was really positive in the week in Vegas with a win coming out, and definitely keeping that momentum going through the season.
Talk about filling the gaps. What's it like playing with Hudson and having him kind of start to get used to playing with you guys?
Yeah, Hudson, for sure. Great player for sure. It's a reason why he's here. It's a reason why Mac undid his red shirt too, and he's playing like it. He's playing his butt off. So really, he comes in with a great mindset every time, and we appreciate that. We need that as a team.
What do you think you guys have felt Jackson's absence the most through the first 3 games without him?
Jackson really just brings an ability to space the floor, especially at 6'10", 6'11", and really just his IQ, I think, out there, and just being out there, knowing the spots, knowing just ghost screens, different things like that. I would say just his ability to shoot the ball as well. I feel like that's kind of been one of our biggest struggles at the start of the season, but I feel like he's one of the best shooters in the country, and losing that kind of hurts us. But I feel like it's next man up mentality for sure.
How can you guys not look past the opponent tomorrow, knowing that you have Nebraska coming up on Saturday?
It's college basketball. Anything can happen any night. Just making sure we prepare like we are. Scout film. Everything stays the same. It doesn't matter the opponent or the name of the test.
Is that a good thing to have an opponent like Nicholas before you take a big test after this Vegas trip to see if you can build off that Oregon game?
I feel like no game is a big test or a small test. Just really going out there and see what we can do against whoever's out there in front of us. Just going out there, executing the game plan that Coach Mac puts us out there to do. That's all we can do.
Like in comparison to the Iowa State game, did you consciously have more of an thought process to get the ball, to take the ball inside and down the take you guys down low?
Yeah, I feel like during the Iowa State game, I kind of was letting Iowa State. I think we as a team was letting Iowa State dictate the pace for the game. We went back that night in the hotel. We had a good players meeting. We talked it over, but really just made an emphasis that next game that we had to make sure that we started demonstrating how we play and being more aggressive and make sure teams can respond to us more. I feel like definitely me personally, I think just kind of making sure my presence was felt out there on the court. I feel like Iowa State wasn't the best game at all for me. But just making sure it was bounced back because, like I said, it's a long season, so making sure I can bounce back.
I think you're the team's leading rebounder at the moment. What is the key to defensive rebounding?
Key to defensive rebounding, I'd probably just say making sure you're in the right spots, making sure you're hitting the man, making sure, most importantly, that your guy doesn't get the ball. But also, I would say really just being in the right spots and knowing when the ball's coming out the rim, making sure when you can box out and then once you get the rebound, grab and go.
I know it can be tiring, or how tiring can it be when you give up so many offensive rebounds and play more defensive possessions? How tiring can that be?
It can be a real test for sure. But really just whatever it takes to win the game. It's a long game. It's all 40 minutes. So, everybody's going to be out there tired at some point. So, whoever's going to have the most dog in them will win the game.
Do one more. All right.